think, Alex? Looks pretty cool, doesn't it?
It looks cool, yeah. I'll probably be able to say more after we go inside and get the tour. But yeah, it looks cool.
It looks awesome. I'm super excited to go in. It should be a good night. By what I hear anyway, they said there's a lot of activity, so I'm pumped to see. It'll be fun.
Hi, Donna. What are you thinking? We just pulled in.
I think it looks pretty cool from the outside. Looks rather large, kind of a little creepy looking. Can't wait to get inside and check out all the cool spirits that are hanging out.
In one of these windows up top here, we obviously can't be sure which one. And again, supposedly he jumped out and did basically like a swan dive just out here and just like killed himself. There was a story of a gentleman that did own this place, which it originally opened as a hotel. It was the fourth structure built in town. We know that now. To service the railroad. And one of the gentlemen that owned it, like, people went through this place like water. Like, it was ridiculous. One of the owners we know was just leaving work one day, came out here on this sidewalk, and just dropped dead. Initially, this was the late 1800s when it was built. We know that. We ended up, after we acquired the place and took on ownership, we decided to really get a lockdown on as much history as possible, documented history. So we had to hire a private investigator, and he did a 2-week-long investigation on deaths, wrongful deaths, everything. And there's a lot of nasty crap that he came up with, which is great because it's validating some of the claims that people that worked here, you know, that's all we had to go on, was their stories. I'll show you guys around. I always start the tour down the long, dark, ominous hallway. Originally, you know, it was a hotel, and then it switched hands probably around the 70s. It was more or less like a nursing home. From there, from the nursing home, it kind of morphed into more or less like a what I consider like a group home. People with mental disabilities, everything from people with Down syndrome, stuff that's a little more common, to people like this lady here who's her name was Gracie. Gracie was diagnosed multiple personality and schizophrenic.
She's like, there's been any activity in this room?
Tons of activity in this room. A lot of bumps, knocks. Interesting story too is she really likes the guys.
Oh, you're in luck,
So she kind of seems to lash herself onto the guys. It almost seems more playful in nature. A lot of pant tugs and things like that. But she also seems to really enjoy attention. So when you're leaving the room, pay extra close attention because then you'll start hearing like bangs. For whatever reason, in this section of the hallway, there seems to be a lot of activity as well. So the staff at night or whatever would hear voices coming from Gracie's room, and they were always male voices. For many different reasons, obviously they wanted to check that out because they didn't want a male in there. So they would go and check, and upon entering the room, they would just see just Gracie. Multiple personalities, but she could shift her voice that much to make it seem male. And she always said the same thing, like, the devil's coming to get you, the devil's coming to get you. This is the nursing home wing. This is obviously where the nurses' station sat at one point. Med cabinet, all of the names still there on the cabinets. Medical cards here with names, certain medications. It was just ridiculous stuff. A lot of activity specifically down this hallway here. This is like what we call basically like the shadow person hallway. So it seems as if shadow people, your stereotypical shadow figure, will begin to manifest itself in that upper right-hand corner of the end of the hallway there, seemingly then come down and then begin walking, more humanoid now in nature, walking back and forth, breaking the light, like a typical shadow figure would do. However, now, over the past 3 months, 4 months now, the shadow figures have started to then come towards the investigators, almost as if we know you're here.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying, it's not anything that seems malicious in nature.
Right.
It's more or less checking you out. Mm-hmm. However, it's sent a lot of people running for the hills because it's very fast when they approach. As far as, stories and things like that, there was one lady that was brought in here, and this was her room, room 7. She was in her mid to late 30s, so very young, and married, apparently drop dead gorgeous, and had this obsession where she would say, my husband doesn't love me, he doesn't find me attractive, blah, 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 blah. And this became just even more of an obsession. And she would stand here at the sink, looking into that mirror, ripping the hair out of her head, just hair by hair by hair, till it was shorter than mine, apparently. So, very, very sad story. So apparently they started medicating her, nothing helped. Then they were heavily medicating her, still nothing that was helping, and she just deteriorated mentally, physically, and everything. Ridiculous. A lot of weird things happen in here, crying that you'll hear, and a very odd smell. It smells like maybe somebody hasn't put on deodorant in a few days, like just really strong BO. Mm-hmm. And it's very sporadic. It comes and it goes. When this place was like the group home facility, it was run by a lady named Geraldine Reed. And Geraldine was one of these people that was basically married to her job. And she loved this place. She worked here and operated this place into her mid-80s. She obviously stepped away from the place. They hired another gentleman. Nobody liked this guy. Nobody in the town liked this guy. Nobody that worked here, nobody that lived here. I just call him the dude. This was the dude's office. And he was very mentally, verbally abusive to a lot of people, including staff. This place was then shut down in 2005, February, I believe it was 15th of 2005. No heat was on in the building. I mean, this goes into more of the abuse, neglect type of scenario now. So a lot of unhappy people in really crappy living conditions when it went from what Geraldine had built and established to this. They did have a lot of funerals in this home as well. People that lived here back in the day, especially, wherever they lived, that's where they had the funeral.
See anything like in here, in this room?
I've never personally experienced anything here. Other people have. My buddy Rick, he'll come for a week, and he'll just stay for a week, and this is where he likes to sleep. And he says there's crap that happens to him all the time. Covers being pulled off and things like that, more or less just somebody messing with him. He doesn't seem like it's anything malicious, but yeah, interesting stuff. So I'm going to take you guys upstairs. This is what we call the windy hallway, the curvy hallway or whatever. But right off the bat, you can start seeing different things, like this right here. This little speckle. That's what we first noticed. Then you see another speckle here. And this is real legitimate blood. We've luminol tested it and all that. Mm-hmm. So, but then you get to this door over here on room 22 and see smears, like blood smears and stains, and it looks as if, like maybe fingers, I don't know, but it's very odd. This is probably the most disturbing right here. Again, it looks like fingers.
Yeah.
What we do know is in this room specifically, behind the door, there's a closet. And this closet, for whatever reason, there's a lot of activity surrounding this closet. A lot of bangs and creaks and cracks, and it sounds like somebody's inside of it hitting it. And I mean, it's that loud. A lot of activity in this hallway, though, especially concerning like little pitter-patters, running. So room 22 is huge, like a lot of activity in there. And then while you're sitting in room 22, you're going to be getting screwed with a lot by what we call just the cat and mouse, like things that are trying to get you to come to their section of this hallway or this house. In this area, though, we have been getting EVPs, especially lately, from a gentleman. It's definitely a male spirit calling himself the captain. And it's interesting because there was a guy who was one of the first people in this town, started like an implement dealership right across the street, was one of the first people to really settle here and bring his family here, and his name was Captain Boehner. He would frequent this place all the time, you know, and it's just very interesting that we may be getting this correlation between between the names. And this is what we call Susie's room. Susie was more like a middle-aged patient, but mentally probably closer to 10. So, again, everything that we found, we just left. But there's her coloring books and activity books, things like that still here. Very active. She is very active. She likes attention and likes to play. And speaking of all that fun stuff, this right here, this is my favorite room in the whole place. But Ina's was living here with her adopted brother, Otto. Mom and Dad had divorced, and so basically aunt and uncle, who ran the grocery store across the street, adopted them. They lived here, and this was back in 1900, late December of 1900. They were outside playing. Ina's was 12, by the way. Outside playing, she was either cold or bored or whatever, and said, I'm going to go inside and play. And Otto's like, well, I'm going to still be down here. Otto waited 10 minutes, came up, found his sister hanging in her closet from her jump rope. So, very apparent suicide.
At 12,
At 12, though.
Wow.
So, nobody wanted to call it a suicide. So if you look at the actual death record or whatever, it's accidental death. But we know that Ina's was also one of the funerals that was held here as well. You know, but this was basically, she was one of the first people to ever like lose her life here on property in a very horrible way. We know that she told her adopted mother or aunt, she was told that her real mother, her birth mother, was going to come this summer and come and get her, you know? And she goes, I would rather die than live with my mother. Ina's is one of the most, I don't know how to describe it. She's my favorite. She's my absolute favorite. Ina's will do a lot. And usually she's just very receptive. You talk to her like a person and it can happen. It's amazing. She's the one I believe is running up and down these hallways. And again, with hair tugging, blowing in your ear, I mean, things like that. But you will hear legitimate, like, footfalls. I mean, it is very apparent that somebody is walking just right out here and there's nobody there. Like, it's terrifying. So now we can go down this scary hallway. This room right here, this is what we call the Grumpy Man room. As far as the Grumpy Man is concerned, he is very loud, boisterous, and vocal about the fact that you're in his space, and he doesn't necessarily want you in his space. most of the voices that we capture are 100% just audible. Meaning like you don't even need like the EVP equipment. So these two rooms, room 17 and room 18. So obviously at night, when this place was still operating as like the group home, this guy in 18 had it down to a science as to when somebody was coming, how long they were going to be in this general area, and then when they would be gone. And 3 to 4 times a week, he would wait until that perfect moment, and he would just sneak across the hall to 17. And there was a gentleman in 17 here who would then, he would molest a lot of activity just right here in these two rooms. And it's nasty, dark, negative, oppressive is a good word to use also. I don't know. I don't like being back here, like at all. Another really weird thing that's been going on lately is activity in the attic. But there's definitely some activity up there, a lot of walking. You'll hear like the heavy footfalls on the steps coming up and down and up and down. They do not like it. I do know this. Like, they don't like it when this door is left open. And
They just get more active when you leave it open, or do they shut it?
It seems like they tried to shut it. Yeah.
Okay.
And there have been times where I have specifically left this open. Come back, usually the next day, and the door will just be shut. So, which is odd too, because that's not the way it swings. There have been really odd occurrences with this place. People are pretty spooked about this place. So
Nice.
yeah, it's pretty cool. So I have one more place to show you guys.
Okay.
And that's downstairs in what we call like the lobby area. This is the lobby. This would have been like the main lobby of the place while it was still operating as a hotel. During its later, when it was like a group home and all that stuff, this room was actually used more like a activity room. Sometimes they would have like musicians come and entertain the clients. This is where they would be. So there was a lot of activity in this place like while it was open. This was just kind of the central hub of everything. There was a gentleman that used to sit in that wheelchair, and he was a nonverbal patient. So I mean, he wouldn't speak at all. Interesting though is he would always have a radio, like a handheld, kind of like a transistor type radio, held up to his ear, and he would be whistling with the tunes. So he would never talk, he would just whistle. And it's very interesting because sometimes, especially when you're playing music, you will hear whistling. Over here, these are photo albums.
Okay.
And things that we've found here as well. These are like goal sheets, med sheets, things like that. That is a casting table.
I
That
had one of those.
that was found. Like everything here was found here. Cigar box, first aid, iodine, keys, and things like that. This is obviously for the medicine chest, things like that. Just crazy stuff. I wanted to show you guys this too. This is the kitchen area. These cabinet doors, they are notorious for opening and shutting themselves. Very loud, and it's very odd when it happens. The day actually that we got the final report from that private investigator, it was just sent via email. And I was reading, and my brother and I were here reading that report when we found out, we finally have a name for this little girl. You know, her name was Inez, and it apparently was a suicide. And I stopped, and I go, you killed yourself? Like loud. Everything in here just came alive. Like it just came alive. Like, yeah, you finally got it. Listen, you know, here I am, this is me. Like, it was a very validating moment for me.
It's a 3-hour setup. Don and I are starting upstairs. Teresa and Alex downstairs.
It's like 91 outside. We're really hot up here, but we're gonna start it up here and see what we can get.
Okay, who are we gonna go to first?
Well, I'm right here on the side.
Grumpy Man's room?
Grumpy Man's room.
All right.
Hello.
Oh, but they kind of sound like Get Out.
Yeah.
Getting goosebumps on my legs. Can you tell us your name? Or touch this? I heard you don't like people up here. Okay, we're gonna motor around, but we'll be back. Anybody down this hall? You want to come talk to us? Let's run in the hallway here.
Stand in this guy's room.
He's gonna say something.
If he passed on.
Well, if he's even here, we don't know. He just told us the story. That doesn't mean that guy's here.
Did you do something bad to the gentleman across the hall?
I got this machine here. You can come talk to us on it. Hello, can you come tell me your name? Are you crazy? It's really hear a lot on this.
Wanna go down that way?
Yeah, we'll go down to the other section.
I smell burnt toast.
Really?
Yeah.
Hi, Susie. Are you in here? Susie, I heard you like to color. You know, looking at these, Suze, you were...
Something went on from there.
Who's that? Who's out there? Come on in.
Were you curious? Yes, you were. Come and touch that in the middle of the hallway again. That was kind of cool.
Thank you. Are you Inez?
No.
Susie? It's Susie? Do you want me to sing Old MacDonald? How about you make the animal sound that you want us to do? Okay, we're going to be real quiet, and you're going to make an animal sound. Ready? Go. That's Old MacDonald. I'm like,
I know.
Yep. Want to come in and give me a pat on the hands? You got to come in and pat my hands. Okay, now I'm really getting covered in goosebumps right now.
Are you coming in?
This was her actual stuff.
Were these your color books in here, Susie?
Yeah.
Susie girl.
Susie Q. Cutie cutie Susie.
Hi.
There you go. How are you, Suze? Thank you for hitting that. That's really cool.
I think she liked that kitty kitty Susie. Nice.
Yeah, thanks for touching. Appreciate that.
We'll send somebody else up to play with you, okay? Let's go.
Who did that?
If that's somebody, can you do it again?
Hello? Are there any nurses down here?
What's your name?
Really? That's what I felt over here. That's why I moved by you, because I felt very vulnerable with my back to an open door.
Yeah, like I couldn't see anything. I could still see the light down there, but it felt like somebody came up and did this. Like I was standing right in front of me.
Who's standing by Alex? What was that?
I don't know.
Is that them?
No, we would have heard them before this.
Hello? Dude, I got goosebumps.
Me too.
Everywhere, toes to head. Hi there.
I don't know, I mean, it looks...
Who's walking down the hallway?
Whoa, that was really weird.
What?
It was like... I was just like this, and on my elbow here. It was just like a static charge. Like, you know, when your TV's on and you get your arm too close to it and you feel it.
You felt that?
On my elbow.
Who's walking in the hallway?
Oh, I'm getting it again. Oh my god. That is the weirdest thing in the world. It's all over my arm. I can still feel it. It's going up my arm.
Alex.
It's going up my arm. I can feel it. Oh my, it's getting
Where
cold
is
now.
it?
It's down by my hand. It's hitting me right now. Super hard.
I know, but look.
Oh,
See that?
oh, that was super, super weird.
That was cool.
That is the weirdest thing I've ever felt.
Maybe there's somewhere else you want us to go, but you gotta let us know. Can you knock on something loudly and another room will follow? What was that?
Was that them?
No, that was in the room.
You in here? It was in here, right?
Yeah, that was not upstairs. I just told them to make a noise where they wanted us to go.
Yeah, they did.
Hi. Is this where you wanted us?
That was loud.
Super loud, and it wasn't above, it was straight ahead.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Alex, how's the night been so far?
Kind of slow. I got probably the weirdest feeling I've ever felt in the years that I've been doing this. And I felt whatever it was, that static electricity like rubbing up and down my arm. That was really weird.
Donna, how's the night been for you?
Been really good. It was a little hot upstairs. We had some action with the REM pod interacting with us. I think we might have got Susie on there. Not sure. And then I'm sitting here and this K2 keeps going off and it's kind of cool.
I forgot that it drives stuff from it.
Oh, it looks like it's about to throw a temper.
What's that?
Who was that?
What did you hear? Oh, what's
Inez, is that you? Inez, are you here? people come to see you. You touch this?
Oh, again with that.
The cobwebbies?
Yeah.
You do cobweb feelings. Cobwebs here and there.
Oh.
Did that just turn off?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
It was recording. It did. Why would it do that?
I don't know.
It was recording. It's turned off.
The switch?
Yeah. I just turned it back on.
Seriously?
Yeah. Did you not see me just flip the switch?
I saw you messing with it.
I just flipped it to on. It was off. How'd you do that? It was off. Like, I just flipped it back. I was looking at it. I'm like, did it die? Like, so I was looking at where the switch was located. Why does this place make me feel uneasy? Even this room.
This room?
Any room. It just feels weird.
I don't know. I don't think that he really cares about her in his room.
I don't think he does either.
Okay, well,
Maybe it's just certain people he don't like.
nice that we came in to visit you.
Thanks for the
Sorry.
visit.
If you tell us anything, we'll be able to hear it. Bye.
Did you just walk over by that home or something? This all I hear?
How would I have walked over that hole?
I don't know. The motion light was just on. The motion detector out here is faced away from this door. It's facing towards the other side of the hallway.
Right.
So I wouldn't be able to set it off anyway.
No. Well, somebody's watching the phone.
Come in this room.
But he ended up healing. Well, all
Is that?
Coincidentally.
Did you guys just see that?
What? What was it? A light?
I heard something. I
I thought you guys knocked something
I
over.
thought you
Something just tossed this paper plate off the table.
Oh.
Wind?
It was on the table and flew all the way over to like me.
Oh, I thought you did that.
I mean, it could have been, but that thing's been running all night.
That's true. It has been sitting all night.
It just did.